All right, so I will jump right into introducing some of our members here in Central Texas, Mike and Amanda Favre. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing
Thanks
great.
for having us.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I love everything that you guys have accomplished and gone through. And I appreciate the fact that, I finally get the opportunity to tell people about all the amazingness you guys have done and accomplished. So tell us a little bit about your 3 single-family homes, and you are also passively invested in 7 multifamily properties. That is insane. When did you guys join?
So we joined in January of 2019,
Mhm.
and it was after spending some time seeing our friends talking about their real estate investing. And then Mike's cousin actually is a member in Houston, and he really sat down with us and kind of explained the model, and it intrigued us enough where we wanted to do the 2-day to just check it out for ourselves. So
Fantastic. And what's your background? Is your background in real estate? Have you guys been fiscally savvy real estate investors since birth?
Oh yes, I bought my first house when I was 2, and
Yeah.
no, just kidding. No, not at all. We were on the Dave Ramsey plan. You know, we were working on paying off our house. We were debt free, except for our house, and we were just waiting to pay off our house, so then maybe we could invest in something. And so after talking with my cousin, also I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was a good kicking off point as far as real estate
But it
goes.
doesn't explain anything on how to do it. It just gets you all pumped up and makes you want to do it. But then you're like, wait a minute, did I miss a chapter?
For sure. Yeah, no, this is it at least got my wheels turning a little bit. But yeah, no, the lifestyles way and the 2-day class really just gave us the kick in the pants and the push, or however you want to call it, and let us take off. So
So
Mike,
maybe Dave Ramsey would be the high school education, and then Kiyosaki would probably be like maybe a community college, and then Lifestyles is full on university.
for sure.
So Mike is an engineer and I'm an accountant. So we are nerds is what it boils down to, right? We are full-blown nerds. We like to overanalyze things and think things a million different ways. And I'm more of the risk adverse, I think. So when we went into the 2-day, I was super skeptical. Mike had read the book, so he was, oh yes, let's sell everything and do all of this stuff. And I'm like, nope, I'm not so sure. But it definitely got us excited.
And where did you guys take the seminar? What city was it? Was it up in Dallas, or where was it?
We're in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure. I get confused. I see people all over the place. I'm like, where were we? So.
Yeah.
2019 was before we had to jump into our bunkers. So.
Yeah.
We were nerds. We were the ones that sitting up front,
And we brought our kids with us for most of the case studies we came to, so they sat around too.
Until you heard me swear, and then you had to hide them.
Yeah. And how much have the kids learned throughout this experience, not just sitting through the 2-day, but actually going to the properties with you and getting that firsthand experience?
So I would say they get real excited. They, not necessarily at the beginning, because we like the really ugly houses, but when they see the transformation and they go back and they get really excited about what the houses look like when we're done. And we talk to them about how this house is helping us to, it brings in money. It helps us to just be able to do things as a family.
Absolutely. I wish more than anything, if I could just go back in time and, obviously alter my parents' plan, I wish I could have had a little bit more of that firsthand experience early on and had that whole mindset integrated into my brain. But, some of us are slow learners.
What's the best time to plan for you? Yesterday. So.
Exactly. The best time to buy a house is today. All right, guys. So this property here on West Mistletoe, it is, pretty standard 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1357 square feet, but it was built in 1925. So with old houses come, a lot of deferred maintenance and a lot of potential problems or what's going on. It does have rewards in terms of unrealized capital gain, but I think that as per Clark's initial presentation when he was discussing, didn't do a single thing, bought a brand new build, didn't have any unrealized capital gain right out of the gate. But as a result, he was able to just get somebody in right away and move forward. So cash flow was his goal and his reward. With this particular property, and actually with your properties, your single family properties, your goal has been unrealized capital gain. And with unrealized capital gain usually entails a pretty hefty little rehab. So look at these before and after pictures. My goodness. Transformations.
I was going to say,
what was the most disgusting thing?
There we go. That's a better one right there. The bathroom with the holes in the back of the wall.
So Mike went and walked this property without me, and we decided to buy it. And he said, I really think we should. And I said, okay, I trust you. And then I walked through it, and I was like, oh, what did we get ourselves into? This one's got a lot.
Yep.
It turned out beautiful.
It did. It really did. You guys did a fantastic job on this property. So another thing that I know that we've talked about in the past is, I think the part that kind of gets glossed over and something that was very important that we share in terms of bettering the community and actually, being able to go in and have pride of ownership in the sense that you took this ugly duckling and turned it into a swan. And, did you have a chance to interact with any of the neighbors? Did you see anybody give you a thumbs up across the street? Like, thank you for fixing that property?
We have had with all of our properties, we've at least got to meet a couple of neighbors. A couple of reasons is, number one, we want to be good, neighbors on top of that. And then two, just to kind of let them know what we're going to do. And then hopefully they'll come talk to us if there's an issue with contractors or something, just, to have that conversation. But for the most part, yes, every one of our properties, we've gotten either a thumbs up or, we get a story behind, oh, this was my mom's house, or this is my grandmother's house, or, hey, I knew the old man that I used to drink beer with the old man that on our latest property. That's been the funniest story. Is a gentleman came down and said, yeah, I used to drink beer with the old man here on this porch, and man, it's great to see what you guys have done with it and really brought it up. So we take a lot of pride in that. It's one of those, I guess you could say, the sixth thing of real estate is when you kind of take these rehabbed homes that they were it in the day, and just kind of bring them back is a lot of fun, and that's a lot of enjoyment that we get.
Well, I mean, you give a continued gift to the community and the surrounding properties because you are also doing your due diligence as far as screening and properly background credit checking your residents. So now you've also put a quality neighbor next door to them. So not only do they get a beautiful house, but they get a respectful neighbor.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about these numbers real quick. Okay, so this property was done hard money. I know the previous property went straight conventional, and this was a little bit of an interesting one in the sense that on the hard money appraisal, the property came in at one value, and then when you did your conventional refi, it actually came out significantly higher, which is always a very exciting woohoo kind of day. So your purchase price on it was $135,000. You did have a very hefty rehab as far as $93,000, keeping in mind that you guys did everything on this house. So that was, there's no what if something else happens because it's all done. The whole house is done. And your cash out of pocket was $38,000. For that though, you were able to capture $41,000 in net equity. Actually, that number is a bit higher. I wasn't on early when they were doing the math part of it, but the number is a little bit higher. It's actually closer to the 57 mark, I believe, is what the original number was. So you do have a very high return on capital gain. And that was, you purchased this property, you put in your effort and your sweat equity in terms of having it rehabbed and doing all the legwork on it. And now you have the opportunity to turn around and sell this property and make money on it. So you literally made money on day one on this particular house. You're renting this.
Wait. You just made this sound like HGTV. You put sweat equity. Were they out there every day for 3 months?
But David, when you have a big rehab, well, maybe you don't. You've been doing it a lot longer than us, but I still sweat when I see these big rehabs, and I'm like, oh my goodness, just start sweating. I'm not physically doing it, but you panic mode.
I know. You sweat when you write that check because it's scary as hell, for each of those contractors. But Mike and Amanda, really, did you do all that foundation work or roof work, whatever? What'd you do?
I wrote a check. We
Well,
sweated all.
while you were
you're an accountant, correct?
I'm sorry, David?
Amanda, are you an accountant? Did you say you're an accountant?
I'm a recovering accountant. I stay at home now. Mm-hmm.
Do you have your debit and credit tattoos? That's what we want to know.
No.
Okay,
No.
not that big of a nerd. But my point is I want the folks to understand that we don't lift up hammers. They hired contractors, they did the work. It's not the stupid TV shows. That's all I want to say.
For sure.
No, it is not the stupid TV shows. We are not taking on second jobs and learning how to put up drywall in our free time, by no means. But it's healthy to still have a little fear initially. So sorry, David. As people that are still doing little properties, or we still get a little panic from time to time, especially when they're big.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure the new people never heard us before. We say sweat equity. They're like, I don't want to use a drill. This guy has DeWalt drills. He's a professional. He doesn't have the welfare Ryobi or something, right? So, my point is this, guys. We sit there and we pay other people to do the work. We don't do the work ourselves. But Mike and Amanda, you made over 100% return.
It was closer to 150%. Yep.
I know. Yeah. Just so you know, we sandbagged their numbers on purpose.
I wasn't there. I'm sorry, guys.
In the background, we're running their numbers, but I'm like, the appraisal came in higher. Is that correct, Jillian, on this one?
Correct.
So they even made more than what was projected. But Mike and Amanda, when you make over 100% return, there's a technical term in the industry for that. Do you know what it is?
I peed in my pants. Yeah,
excited.
It's pee in your pants exciting. You will wear it depends when you double your money. And when you do it multiple times, it's even better. So pretty cool.
So I will also add into, usually when we see a larger unrealized capital gain property, in other words, that's what the goal was and that's what we were achieving. Typically we see lower cash flows. This property is unique in the sense that it also has a very strong cash flow. They're making $544 a month on this property. That is $6,528 a year. So it's a 17.2% return on just this property. Keeping in mind that when they turn around and sell it, after the time has passed, they're going to be able to recoup their cash out of pocket plus the unrealized capital gain that they're projecting. And the whole time they were making money while doing it.
Yeah, so not only is going to make the 100% return, not only going to double the money, but they're making 18% a year, rounding. And then next year, let's see if you know, the last student that was here, I said, how are you going to thank your renters next year?
Raise the rent.
So, and Jillian's awesome, is she not?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, we got to ask you guys some trivia.
Okay.
What is Jillian's degree in?
Science.
Biology, yes. Well, what is that good for as a real estate investor? If we play Trivial Pursuit, she can answer those little green pie questions, just so you know.
Absolutely.
We could not have done this without Jillian, for sure. She has answered phone calls and texts and all kinds of things, because as you can imagine, with $93,000 of rehab, and our other two are equally as ambitious with rehab, there's a lot of things that pop up that we don't know how to handle with contractors, with the city, all that stuff. So she's been
I just want to throw out there that I did nothing. You guys did all the work. I just answered questions. I appreciate so much that you guys ask the questions, opposed to just, I don't know, I'm just going to guess, and then then I have to go in and help you with full-on damage control. So this model members here, guys, just ask as many questions as you possibly can. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
And just so you know, this is a huge rehab. Typical rehabs are 20, maybe 30K on a big rehab. This is like way overboard kind of insane rehab, but that is a big, huge project. You guys made it happen. Great results. I'm really proud of you guys. That's pretty awesome, but wasn't the only deal you did. Talk about your portfolio here.
Yeah, no, this is just your single family portfolio. I just want to put that out there. You also have apartments. We're not showcasing your multifamily stuff. We're just talking your 3 single family properties. Between all 3 of them, you are essentially getting you're actually getting $17,652 extra dollars in your pocket every single year. And you have acquired $136,000 of unrealized capital gain. So that is money that is just waiting to be yanked out when you sell these properties and turn around and reinvest?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Next I believe is we're moving on to the red blocks.
The red blocks?
Yes.
Not the hotel. That's
Not
funny.
No, not the hotels, no.
And honestly, I want to point out too that when we say passively investing, let's just talk about that real quick. So you have both, and a lot of our very successful members are a hybrid of both single family and multifamily portfolios. But I want to point out that, you know, even though once a property is rehabbed and you've done everything correctly and you've properly background and credit check screened your tenants, you still periodically get calls. It's not strictly autopilot. I recognize that you're not getting calls all the time because you did everything correctly and your tenants are in a clean and functional property, best product, best price. But tell me how often you're getting involved in your passive deals.
Oh, passive?
Passive?
How many phone calls are you getting about a clogged toilet or a broken air conditioner?
Mike
Yeah.
and Amanda, let's be real with the people out there listening.
Okay.
You had to get out of your chair, you had to go out to the mailbox, and you had to get a check, correct? Once a quarter?
Only on a few
Only
of
on a
them.
few of them. Now we have ACH, so
Yeah.
it's.
I
we don't
know,
have
you're
to-
even lazier. You must like vote for Bernie Sanders. No, send it right to my bank account. I don't want to do anything.
I love it.
I just want to make sure people know that are new.
You guys just ruined one of David's coined terms, which is mailbox money. Mailbox. Hello,
That's all.
Grandma.
I know.
I don't want to pull a hammy, walking that far.
So Mike kind of alluded to it, but our ultimate goal would be to sell our single families at some point. I mean, as long as they're cash flowing and doing well, then we
You
probably
guys
will hold
love it. You love the challenge. Don't lie.
There's nothing wrong with having, people ask me this all the time that are passive investors. Is it okay to have a couple of single family? Absolutely. They're great for the tax benefits, which I'll cover with you guys this weekend. That's
Yeah,
one
fun.
thing quick. I want the people that are new to understand, now that you've been doing this a little while, you got some properties, how does it help you tax-wise on your taxes? Has it helped you guys at all? Have you experienced that yet?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess kind of go back to what you asked Clark a while ago, where you got them, or what the question was, where we got our capital. A large majority of our capital, we pulled our 401ks. I mean, we bought into lifestyles and real estate 100%, and we're all in. And so, to be honest with you, pulling those, man, our income this year looked really, really, really good.
Yep.
And
we still got a refund.
And we still got a refund.
Yes.
So,
That's awesome.
I mean,
I love
yeah.
hearing that. People always doubt me, but you're real examples of doing just what I teach. So I love hearing that. I love hearing that. So you are officially Kool-Aid drinkers. Good reference?
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. We love being in rehab.
Yeah, and we've even got the short arms now, right?
Yeah, T-Rex arms. You guys are part of the T-Rex crew. It's awesome. So really quick, another trivia thing. You know, Jim Jones referenced Kool-Aid. It wasn't Kool-Aid. What was the name of the product everybody drank?
Gatorade?
Flavor Aid.
Oh,
Obviously,
Flavor
it's going out of business, but think of the bad connotation Kool-Aid got out of that.
I still think it's called Kool-Aid. I watched a
I
documentary
know all
during
this
my
stuff. I'm weird. I don't make any sense.
Gatorade was the stuff that was the great value. It would be the equivalent of the great value. You know, you were rich if you got
welfare
Kool-Aid.
version, right?
If you
The
were
no
regular,
fruit.
you got Flavor Aid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
All right.
on that note, the whole cult reference, you guys had joined because you had a family member and friends that were in, and you got excited and listened to them and believed what they were, well, they didn't believe it, you could see it of what they were accomplishing and doing. And I think that it's kind of interesting that now you've actually expanded that. So now you're on the recruitment team now. So you just had your sister join on, correct, Amanda?
Yes. So my sister and our brother-in-law joined this,
A year ago?
I think, a year ago. And
So they're to come to my online version, right?
no, it was still in person.
Before the communists took over, we could actually meet people. Okay.
That's
Yes.
right. But they are just doing they just finished their
bought
third.
two already. So yeah.
Awesome.
Third.
So I
They
see
have-
one of your final goals is to retire from corporate America. Mike, is that becoming more and more of a reality, each and every property you take down?
Oh, it is, and I'm in sales, so it's commission sales, so it's up and down all the time. So this real estate for me, and I guess for our family, really has been kind of that load off the shoulders that, oh man, I got to produce. No, I can go, yeah, maybe I want to mess with you, but you know what? You're kind of a pain in the rear end, so I'm gonna go on. So no,
Yeah, we want
it's
to make sure we retire you before you lose all your hair.
oh, I just shifted. I just shifted it down to here.
Don't
Follically.
take hair advice from this guy. He used to be blonde. So
Yeah, I know.
Pictures.
Well, Mike and Amanda, would you be willing to take some questions from members?
For sure.
There you go.
man. I'm sorry.
Danielle, bring them on.
All right, let's see what we have here. Okay. So John asked, how long did the rehab take? And then lessons that you learned from buying an older house.
Each rehab honestly took between 3 and 4 months. There was delays, of course, but like with all old houses, there's going to be stuff that comes up. And so one of the main lessons that we have learned, and Jillian has kind of helped us walk off the ledge a couple of times, is she goes back and goes, go rerun your numbers. And we go rerun the numbers and go, oh darn, we didn't make, what are we at, 17%? We didn't make 20%. Now we're down to 17%, and we didn't make $40,000 or $50,000 equity. We only made $40,000 equity or something like that. So it's so the main lesson that we have learned is on these long rehabs is there's going to be stuff that comes up, but just go back to the numbers and kind of look at the numbers and take the emotions out of it sometimes. So.
Absolutely. And also, you guys did it 100% correctly in the sense that you had that cushion. So it wasn't like you scraping by on the skin of your teeth just to break even. You had that cushion. It was you had the be able to take the sigh of relief of, oh, our numbers still are very good.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely been a blessing there, is that, yeah, we may overanalyze, like Amanda says at the beginning.
That's
like,
fine. I love analyzers because you know what? If it comes out the way that it was, first presented or you first projected, then that's just icing on the cake. So my advice to everybody is if you're doing a big rehab, just pad your rehab budget a little bit because you never know.
For sure.
Oh, that was the lesson that I have, is pad your rehab budget.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is from Phil, and he said, what were the big ticket items on these rehabs? What were the most expensive things that you had to repair?
On Mistletoe and our third, that's West Craig, was foundation. These are pier and beam houses, and unfortunately they're old, 1925, and our West Craig is our newest house, and I believe it's 1940 or 41. And unfortunately, these houses go into disrepair, like Jillian says, and people don't take care of it. And I mean, it was a large part. The next is probably electrical. Quite frankly, we do electrical, plumbing, and mechanical, and so those are our big three. Is after foundation typically.
Absolutely.
So since we talked about,
oh yeah, old properties always factor in electrical and plumbing. Assume.
And sewer, the sewer line here in San Antonio, you just add it in there.
The cast iron held out as long as it could.
Half of it.
I mean, it was trying.
It was. The ground was hooking up most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll blame the ground.
so since we talked about the fact that you do both single family and multifamily, Abby wanted to ask, for you, are the returns better for single family or multifamily?
Well, I think so. The reason we did a little of both is because the long-term benefits of, we do more value or hybrid. So we are more in the, again, equity capture on the multifamily side. So typically we put our money in and we may not see returns for a while, right? So that's kind of a deferred payment. We'll get returns, but we don't get them immediately. Where the single family is more instantaneous. And then we just wanted a little bit of control. We don't, as a passive investor in those deals, we don't really control when they sell, when they refi, when they do those things. And we wanted the control of being able to say, you know what, I think it's right, we're ready to offload this one so that we can do one in a different area, or, we wanted a little control.
And, we say we drank the Kool-Aid, but we also come from backgrounds of working. And so it's the passive income mentally is something that we're still learning to get used to. And so the single family kind of tweaks that itch to have to do something to earn our money. So without having to do really much.
Another big factor for new people, they're using words like value and all that stuff and hybrid. You don't know what that means. I'll break that down this weekend. Don't worry about that. Here's the big difference between multifamily and single family. Single family is not training wheels for multifamily. Single family does not have what's called the economies of scale. When you get larger amounts of money to deploy, you can't do it with single family. You can make 30, 40 grand a year like some of these folks are doing, but some of you have 6-figure incomes, 100 grand a year, 150 grand a year, 200 grand a year. We can't do it with single family. So that's where we ought to transition. So guys, if you have 30, 40, 50 grand to work with, smaller amounts, yeah, we're gonna start with single family. Some people come to Lifestyles with 100 grand to start. Well, they can go right to multifamily and skip over single family. By the end of the weekend, you'll know which is the right path for you. It's not the same for every individual. If you're 75, you're gonna look at things different than if you're 35. But we'll explain that this weekend. So Mike and Amanda, do you have any final words of wisdom for new folks?
Do it. You know, it's scary. Like Amanda said, she's probably more risk averse than I was, but you know, I still have that hesitation. But you know, jumping off and doing that and just seeing the benefits that you can have, the freedom that you can get of your time. I know, David, you say that's the biggest thing that we buy back is time, and Dave will teach you about chunking stuff, and that's really our approach to most of our real estate is, okay, this house, you know, yeah, it's $544. Okay, that's grocery bills, or that's, you know, part cell phone bill, part kids tuition, and so that's the way we look at it. So for new folks, I'll say it's scary, but you know what? Just do it. Listen to what the mentors say. Listen to what David says. Listen to what Dell says. Follow the plan, and you can't go wrong.
I was going to say, I think the advice that I have is don't try to recreate the wheel that Dell has already created and it works just fine. I think that you can go outside and you can do your own thing, but it's so much more effort. And I think just following a program that has worked successfully for so many people, there's value in that. And there's security in that, and being able to call Jillian and know that we can ask her a question and she has the same mindset about how her properties are that we, you know, so we're kind of on the same page. So just follow the process, trust the process.